I am a total coffee lover. There's just something about that warm first cup of coffee in the morning to get me going. But as a building biology practitioner, I've had to take a hard look at the tools we use for this daily ritual. We spend so much time picking out the right organic, fair trade coffee beans, but if we're pouring them into a machine filled with plastic tubing and heated reservoirs, we might be undoing all that good work. The truth is, most modern coffee makers are a maze of plastic components that can leach toxic chemicals into your coffee. When you introduce near boiling water to these parts, you aren't just making coffee. You're creating a high heat chemical reaction. Research from 2026 shows that a single cup can contain over 10,000 microplastic particles. Today, we're gonna audit your setup and find truly plastic-free brewers that belong in a healthy home. Welcome back, I'm Amanda. I'm a building biology practitioner and a healthy home expert. And today we're talking about something most of us consume day in, day out, so there's a lot of opportunity to make it healthier, and that is your cup of coffee, and specifically how you brew it and how to make that part healthier. So today I want to dive into one of the most overlooked areas of the home, and that is your coffee station. So as a building biology practitioner, I look at how the materials in our environment interact with our biology. So today we are not just going to talk about cleaning up your diet. We're actually talking about the physical tools you use every single morning, and we're going to explore the chemistry of heated plastics, the reality of BPA-free marketing, and exactly what to look for when you're shopping for a new brewer. So in building biology, again, we study how materials react under stress. Coffee brewing involves extreme thermal loads. So usually we're heating water to 195 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, at these temperatures, heat acts as a catalyst. It weakens the polymer chains in plastic, and it allows for synthetic additives, things that you aren't maybe technically part of the plastic skeleton, to migrate into your water. So you aren't just extracting coffee flavor, you are extracting whatever chemicals were used to stabilize that plastic tubing or reservoir. Just for a second, I really want to talk about invisible load. Research published in early 2026 shows that the physical plastic itself is the problem. A single cup brewed through standard plastic components can release over 10,000 microplastic particles. And these aren't just sitting in your gut. They're so small that they can bypass your natural filtration systems, enter your bloodstream, and lodge in your tissues. So when you multiply this by 365 days a year, the cumulative burden on your immune system becomes a massive factor in your overall toxic load. And I know that you have seen the BPA-free stickers. So in my practice, I have to explain this often that it's just marketing. Many BPA-free plastics instead use bisphenol S or bisphenol F. Research has shown that these alternatives are just as biologically active. They act as an endocrine disruptor, and this means that they mimic estrogen in your body. So they dock into your cellular receptors and they send the wrong signals. This can impact reproductive health, metabolism, even thyroid function. So instead, by choosing glass or stainless steel, we can avoid this entire class of synthetic bisphenols. So this is a really sobering area of current research. Data from 2025 suggests that microplastics can penetrate the blood-brain barrier, and this is the body's most sacred protective boundary. And once inside, these particles can trigger chronic neuroinflammation. Postmortem studies found significantly higher concentrations of microplastics in brain tissue of individuals with dementia compared to healthy controls. So this correlation is a major reason why building biology practitioners advocate for the precautionary principle. If there is a risk, we should remove the source. We also have to talk about your heart. A landmark 2024 study in the New England Journal of Medicine followed patients with microplastics embedded in their artery plaque. These results were staggering. Those with microplastic contamination had a 4.5 times higher risk of heart attack or stroke compared to those without. So this is not just a theory, it's actually a clinical reality. When you drink from a plastic machine daily, you are contributing to a systemic load that can physically accumulate in your vascular system. If you're navigating a home project right now, or you're trying to figure out if your home is actually safe, I know that it can feel really overwhelming. You might be guessing about invisible toxins or trying to figure out where a damp odor is coming from. It might even be trying to fix stagnant air in your home without a clear plan. In order to give families my dedicated attention, I take just 4 virtual one-on-one consultations a week to help you set up a clear plan for your home. We can look at your space together and come up with a science-backed plan and a step-by-step roadmap that leaves you feeling confident about your home. Simply click the link above or in the video description below to set up your one-on-one consultation with me so that we can walk through your home and create that plan together. And this is why I strongly suggest moving away from pod-based machines. These systems represent a perfect storm. So first you have a thin, single-use plastic pod, and then it's subjected to high heat and high pressure at the same time. Now, what this does is it triggers a thermal chain where the plastic surface literally fragmentizes into the coffee. Now, in addition to this, these machines also have internal lines that are almost impossible to dry out. This leads to biofilm and mold growth inside the machine where you can't see it. So for a healthy home, we want simplicity and we want transparency. So how do we fix that? Well, first we look at materials that are inert, meaning that they don't react with heat and they don't react with acid. And in the world of healthy home design, that means stainless steel or glass. And we want a clear, clean path from the water reservoir to your mug. We want to eliminate the mystery of what's happening inside a machine. So for automatic drip lovers, there is just one model that I'm currently recommending, and it is the Simply Good Coffee brewer. Most stainless steel machines that advertise that they're stainless steel, they still have plastic tanks or plastic heads. Now, in contrast, this model uses a glass water reservoir and a stainless steel boiler. Most importantly, the head and the filter basket are surgical grade steel. So there's no plastic that touches the water during the brew cycle. This is honestly a game changer for those who really want a healthy home without losing the convenience of a drip machine. So this is my manual brewing favorite. This is actually what I use every single day. It's a gold standard. It is just glass. It's completely non-reactive. You can consider a high quality pour over like this, or you can even do a French press. So most French presses do have a plastic gasket on the plunger that sits on top of the hot coffee, but in my blog post this week, I do have a double stainless steel filter, one that is linked. So if you also love espresso, you could switch to a stainless steel mocha pot. You can avoid the traditional aluminum versions because aluminum is a neurotoxin metal, and that can leach into acidic liquids like coffee. But there are plenty of options when it comes to pour over, espresso, and French press that are completely plastic free as well. And you know that I cannot talk about coffee without talking about our water quality, because coffee is 98% water. So if you're using unfiltered tap water, you're actually heating and concentrated chemicals like chlorine or pesticides while you're making coffee. Chlorine actually reacts with coffee phenols and it creates a disinfection byproduct. These are called BPs, and these are known carcinogens. What they do is they disrupt your gut health and impact your body. So I always recommend using water filtered through some sort of system. I myself love the Cloud RO system with a remineralization filter to add all of those important nutrients back into your water before it ever touches your coffee. Now, beyond the machine, it's also really important to talk about the coffee beans. So coffee is highly susceptible to mycotoxins. These fungal toxins survive the roasting process, and they can actually cause brain fog, fatigue, and what many people mistake for the coffee jitters. It's not always the caffeine. Sometimes your body's reaction to a fungal toxin is very similar. So this is why choosing third-party lab-tested coffee is a great step to ensure that your coffee is healthy. And these are a few of my favorite clean coffee brands. These companies test every batch for mold, mycotoxins, and over 400 pesticides. So when you combine clean coffee beans with a plastic-free machine and filtered water, your morning ritual becomes a true support for your wellness rather than a daily detox challenge. So you can actually start your audit of your morning coffee today with some simple steps. So first, you want to check your water path. Is your water sitting in a plastic tank? The second thing you can do is inspect your filter basket. Could you maybe swap it out for stainless steel to prevent a little bit of plastic exposure? And then third, you can also check your mug. Anything that's plastic lined, like a paper cup or plastic travel lids for glass or ceramic, these are things we can swap out. They're small shifts, but they're how we build a home that truly allows our families to thrive. So swapping out your coffee maker might feel like a really big step, but it is one of the most impactful changes you can make in your kitchen if you are a daily coffee drinker. When we remove the plastic, the chlorine, the mycotoxins, we're creating a ritual that really supports your wellness. You can start today, and you can start with switching to maybe a glass French press or looking at some different coffee beans. Your morning routine should really make you feel good, knowing that you've done the work to protect your health. If you want links to all of my favorite products that I mentioned here in the video, I have them listed out in the blog post this week, where I even go into more depth about the importance of a healthy coffee maker, one that's plastic free, and how to shop for one that is at least a little bit more toxic. I have it linked above or in the video description below. As always, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you were able to take at least one concept or idea from this week's video and apply it in your own kitchen. If you did find this video helpful, definitely give it a like and be sure to subscribe to my channel, because I'm here every single week with new tips and new ideas on how to create a space that actually supports your health and your wellness.